This was supposed to be a very different inquiry. I was supposed to talk about the 5G mobile network controversy, but I realized two things. One, hearing me talk about something approximately one person cares about would be about as boring as watching paint dry. And two, I realized 5G wasn't really that bad. Sure, it's overpriced, but it at least has the potential to be much better than previous iterations. Anyways, when I was scrambling to find a more interesting aspect of my topic to cover, I stumbled across something known as an EMF radiation harmonizer. No, this isn't some voodoo magic. These, exorbitantly priced defenders promise to defend you against, get this, noxious radiation from your refrigerator. Yes, you heard me right. These things will defend you from your refrigerators, all for the low price of $500. But they must be worth it, right? I mean, I don't even know what this radiation is, and it's all around me. I must need this plastic wand to save me, right? Jokes aside, these are some big claims that toxic amounts of radiation are being leaked from everything. Your phones, your cell towers, and your washes. So I decided to dig deeper, and I was led down a rabbit hole so large that it spanned for more than a century. But I realized I had to be the bigger person. I had to be impartial. I would need to put my doubts aside and give them the benefit of the doubt. After all, they're backed by such experts of tech as, well, never mind. Let's look at what exactly they're saying is the problem. Now, the first problem is that none of these companies can even agree on what's causing these harmful effects, or even what EMF radiation is, but let's look at one example. OregonEffects.com says, all our products produce a negative charge resonance, whatever that means, which is as close to nature as possible. This is vitally important because the correct negative charge frequencies are required to successfully neutralize and balance the positive charge resonance, the harmful component of any electromagnetic field, thus neutralizing any electromagnetic stress on the human meridian system. So, EMF radiation doesn't actually have a charge, but, well, what about the next one? DefenderShield.com, also, by the way, these are some very funny names. They say that, they say everything right, but then go and say, nope, actual scientists are wrong by our product. But they were proving their point the entire time. Whatever, no luck there. By now, I think it's pretty obvious that these companies are just trying to use buzzwords just to confuse the less tech-savvy. But to fully debunk these claims, I need to explain what 5G and EMF radiation actually is. At its core, 5G and all previous mobile networks are just a series of radio waves sent out by a cell tower and received by our phones. The most basic of radio waves work by sending out electrons when an electromagnetic force is created or broken, and a receiver picks up these electrons, completing a circuit in the receiver and then having an action once that circuit is completed. Phones use a slightly more complicated version of this, using different frequencies and something called a sine wave to transmit data, but the core concept is the same. So, were they right? Well, at first glance, yes. EMF stands for electromagnetic fields, and that is exactly what's being created and broken to send information. However, radiation is a spectrum. There are two types of radiation, non-ionizing and ionizing. Non-ionizing radiation isn't dangerous at all. This includes radiation from microwaves and, get this, your phones. Ionizing radiation includes gamma rays or UV light from a tanning bed and other stuff like that. So, in every sense of the word, EMF radiation harmonizers are complete bogus. But how big of a problem are they exactly? They are a massive problem. Thousands of companies all over the world, each with a different flagship product or its most premium one. Stickers, domes, Harry Potter wands, and even teddy bears. Teddy bears! All of these are designed to suck all the totally dangerous EMF radiation and your money out of you. Now, you may be wondering, where is the credibility? Where is the integrity? Well, let's see for ourselves who these guys are being backed up by. Now, it's no surprise whenever some famous rando talks up a blatant scam. After all, we are in the golden age of rug pulls and scams with crypto and NFTs. So, who are we working with? Kourtney Kardashian and Gwyneth Paltrow. Yes, you heard that right, a Kardashian and the founder of Goop. You know, that hugely scientific company that sells infertility curing crystals. Not sure why I was surprised by this. Oh, but what about scientifically? The website did say it was tested for 100% effectiveness against 5G, right? Well, those tests consisted of some rando touching someone without the EMF harmonizers, and just saying, yep, she's not well. Her body does not like this. Then they touched her again with the harmonizers and said, oh, yeah, she's completely better. The best one has to be when they tell their customers to touch their refrigerator. They said if you have the harmonizers, you will feel a very nice sensation. Now, considering this industry is built on a foundation of people who say that vegans don't need deodorant, I was baffled. Why and how are he so popular? And why are people raving about it? Well, that is a very tough question to answer, and to solve it, we're going to have to go way, way back. Welcome to the introduction of fringe medicine. I would like you to cast your imagination to the 1970s. No one in this room has probably been born then, but there was a revolution happening. Not a good one, but a revolution nonetheless. And it was the rise of hippies and fringe medicine. Fringe medicine refers to the use of alternate medicine to heal ailments. All of those infomercials asking why you had a bad back, or why your neck hurt, or why you have arthritis. Then proceeding to tell you that it wasn't that your posture is horrible, or that you slept wrong, or that you play sports a lot, or that you've actually been smoking your entire life. No, they said it was because of your mind. Now, the history of fringe medicine is vast. And surprisingly, it didn't start off that bad. No, fringe medicine started off as a great ancient Asian acupuncture technique or special herbal teas. And they came at a time when traditional medicine hadn't reached the rest of the world very much. But what most fringe medicine practitioners don't really tell you was that these techniques didn't try to cure cancer. No, they simply used herbs and spices and acupuncture techniques along with healthy habits to keep in good health. But they didn't sell you some 3-month program full of absolutely nothing to cure your cancer. And they sure didn't put a $2,000 price tag on it. Funny how the old French medicine was used in conjunction with Western medicine. But I digress. Of course, with most things, we colonized it. We took their practices and made them wrong. The 1960s was the boom of the counterculture movement, or the hippie movement, a period of time in which people realized capitalists didn't actually care about them. Shocking. But along with any revolution, there was a bad side. Countless people turned to fringe medicine and it blew up. The wrong kind, by the way. People disregarded the true use of Asian practices and instead made it into a business. After all, why have Big Pharma when you could instead have goop? All of this to say that people wanted answers to non-curable illnesses that dominated the 1900s. And the most successful instance of fringe medicine has to be the AIDS dietary candy. You see, the biggest thing to come out of the mid-1900s and the hippie movement was a huge demand for weight loss. Beauty standards were becoming as toxic as ever, and any woman who wasn't very skinny was labeled as unattractive. The grapefruit diet and even a solely bread diet were the funniest to come out of this period, and saddest. But AIDS took it a step further. A candy you could eat to suppress your appetite, making you lose weight. This premise of eating candy to lose weight, combined with some really misinformed advertising and some very popular celebrity endorsements, meant this candy flew. It enjoyed great sales until the FDA and yeah. But that's not the point.
Me nervous.
Question: why take diet pills when you can enjoy AIDS? AIDS helps you lose weight without making you jittery.
Let's do a little comparison between AIDS and some anti-radiation devices. Both convinced you that there was a fundamental problem with you or the world. With AIDS, they said it was a fundamental problem with us that led to most not being able to keep off weight. With our situation, it's a little more clear-cut. We were convinced that tech had a fundamental problem, that being radiation. They portrayed themselves as medical professionals, backed by famous celebrities, and they could help you for a low price, in comparison to living the rest of your life with migraines, a bad back, or even an incurable disease. There's a phenomenon known as confirmation bias. When you're expecting something, you attempt to cherry-pick information that would prove you right. These are the building blocks of the anti-5G pitch. Create a problem, sell a solution. Anyways, it's a self-reinforcing cycle. Just start off with some bogus claims and some fake reviews, and the only thing people can go off of are the fake reviews. Cue placebo effect, they write a review for themselves, and the reviews keep growing. That's why you can see 5-star reviews on one product and thousands on a very similar one. But this goes a little bit earlier than fringe medicine. You see, around 1912, someone by the name of William Reich knew something was off with our world and our lives. He said that there was an invisible energy which he called orgone. He attributed much of the health problems we faced during the 1900s to technology, and his solution was orgone, that energy that supposedly had magical healing properties but no one could see. He said it was all around us, and a lack of orgone was causing everything from headaches to, and I quote, hot head syndrome. This idea came at the worst time, when fringe medicine was beginning to be overtaken by Western culture, and fringe medicine was starting to gain mass popularity. Tech became the enemy overnight, and orgone became the solution. Orgone became even bigger than 5G defenders and EMF radiation harmonizers. Orgone pyramids, stickers, orgone energy generators, which don't require electricity. All you need to say is abracadabra. That last part was made up, but everything else is true. Orgone still persists today and has become the cornerstone for the hippies who think plants can feel pain. One more thing before I end the inquiry. Some of the anti-radiation products actually contain toxic amounts of thorium. Pretty ironic how anti-radiation stuff is radioactive. At the end of the day, companies are able to skirt around authorities by including a tiny section of paper, removing them from any liability when their product inevitably flops, aside from some few placebo effect cases. And that's it. Hopefully you won't get caught in one of these scams. Thanks for watching.